Welcome to my channel Old Valuable Chillar. Did you know that some 5-cent coins from the United States are worth thousands of dollars today? The rarest and most valuable is the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, one of the most famous coins in American history. Only 5 of these nickels are known to exist, and one of them sold for over $4.5 million. Other rare nickels like the 1918 7D Buffalo nickel and the 1942 P Jefferson nickel with double die can also bring big money to collectors. So before you spend that nickel, check your coins. You might be holding a piece of America. First up, the 1962 5-cent coin from the United States, known as the Jefferson nickel, is one of those coins that continues to attract collectors and coin enthusiasts all over the world. Even though millions were minted, some of these coins hold hidden value that surprises collectors every day. In this video, we're going to explore everything about the 1962 nickel, its history, design, metal composition, mint marks, minting errors, varieties, and how you can identify valuable pieces that could be worth far more than face value. Stay tuned till the end, because some of these coins have sold for thousands of dollars. The 1962 Jefferson nickel is part of a long-running coin series first introduced in 1938. This series features Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and one of the founding fathers. The obverse side of the coin shows the left-facing portrait of Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. The inscriptions include the word liberty, the date 1962, and the famous motto "In God We Trust." On the reverse side, you can see Jefferson's Monticello home, along with the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and the denomination 5 cents. The 1962 nickel was minted in 2 main locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The coins struck in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while those from Denver carry a small D mint mark located to the right of Monticello on the reverse. In total, more than 380 million coins were minted in Philadelphia and around 280 million in Denver. Because of this high mintage, most 1962 nickels are common in circulated condition, but the real value comes from uncirculated and proof-like examples or coins with unique minting errors. The composition of the 1962 Jefferson nickel is 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it the distinctive silver-gray color and durable surface. Each coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters with a plain edge. While this might sound ordinary, what makes these coins truly interesting is the range of variations and errors that can occur during minting, and that's where collectors get excited. Now, when it comes to value, the majority of 1962 nickels in circulated condition are worth only a few cents above face value. However, high-grade examples, especially those graded mint state 65 or higher, can bring in impressive prices. For instance, 1962 D nickels with full steps on the Monticello, meaning that all the steps are sharply struck and visible, are extremely rare. Collectors will pay a premium for these coins. Some examples with full steps have sold for over $2,000 at auction. But that's not all. There are also several known minting errors that make certain 1962 nickels highly sought after. One of the most popular types is the double die, where parts of the design appear to be doubled due to misalignment during striking. These double dies can be seen in the lettering on either side of the coin, most often around "In God We Trust" or "E Pluribus Unum." There are also off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to improper alignment, and die cracks, which leave raised lines on the surface of the coin. Each of these errors can significantly increase a coin's value depending on how visible and unique it is. For example, a 1962 Jefferson nickel with an off-center strike of around 15% to 20% can easily fetch over $100, while coins with more dramatic errors can go for several $100s. Double die examples in pristine condition can be worth anywhere from $50 to several $100s depending on rarity and demand. Another factor that influences value is the condition of the coin. Uncirculated coins, often called mint state, retain their original luster and have no wear. Collectors pay special attention to the sharpness of the design, the smoothness of the fields, and the clarity of Jefferson's portrait. Proof coins, although not made for circulation, are also highly collectible. These coins were specially struck for collectors using polished dies and planchets, resulting in mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. A 1962 proof nickel can easily sell for $10 to $50 depending on quality, and those graded PR 67 or higher can reach even higher values. The Jefferson nickel design has remained largely unchanged for decades, making coins like the 1962 issue part of an important chapter in American coinage history. While it may seem common, finding a perfect or error-free example is challenging, and that's what drives coin collectors to search through rolls of nickels and old change jars in hopes of discovering something special. If you're interested in identifying valuable 1962 nickels, start by examining the steps on the Monticello building on the reverse. A coin that shows 5 or 6 full steps without breaks or flattening is highly desirable. Also, look for any doubling in the inscriptions, unusual marks, or misplaced mint marks. A simple magnifying glass can reveal these details, and it could mean the difference between a coin worth 5 cents and one worth hundreds. You can also pay attention to the color and luster. Coins that have original mint shine, without discoloration or heavy marks, are always preferred by collectors. Storing your coins properly is another key factor. Use soft holders or capsules to prevent scratches and exposure to moisture. Even a small amount of tarnish or corrosion can reduce the value dramatically. The 1962 5-cent coin also has historical significance. During this period, the United States was experiencing a time of economic growth and cultural change. Coins like the 1962 nickel circulated heavily in everyday transactions, carrying the image of Jefferson, a symbol of American ideals, knowledge, and progress. Today, these coins serve as small metal links to that era. Many collectors also look for nickels with interesting toning, that rainbow-like patina that develops naturally over decades. Unique toning patterns can make a coin stand out, and some collectors pay a premium for coins with beautiful or unusual coloration. If you happen to find a 1962 nickel in your pocket change, take a closer look. You might just have something special. While most are common, every once in a while a rare variety shows up in circulation. Searching through old jars, estate sales, or inherited collections can sometimes reveal hidden treasures. When assessing the potential value of a 1962 nickel, remember that rarity, condition, and demand all work together. A rare era coin with strong demand will always outperform a common one in worn condition. Even if your coin isn't rare, it still holds historical and sentimental value, a piece of mid-century American life preserved in metal. Collectors often specialize in Jefferson nickels because they're affordable to start with but have incredible potential for discovery. The 1962 issue is an excellent example, easy to find yet full of surprises for those who take the time to look closely. So, whether you're a beginner or an experienced numismatist, the 1962 Jefferson nickel deserves a spot in your collection. It represents a timeless piece of U.S. coinage, honoring one of America's most respected leaders, and it continues to inspire collectors worldwide. Next up, the 1963 5-cent coin from the United States, commonly known as the 1963 Jefferson nickel, is one of the most talked about coins among collectors and coin enthusiasts today. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but its history, composition, minting variations, and potential value in the collector's market make it a fascinating subject. In this video, we're going to explore everything about the 1963 Jefferson nickel, its design, metal content, mint marks, mintage figures, interesting varieties, rare errors, and what makes certain pieces worth far more than face value. If you have a 1963 nickel or are curious about its hidden value, stay tuned until the end, because every detail matters when it comes to coin collecting and coin value. The 1963 Jefferson nickel belongs to a long-running series that started in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse. The reverse side shows Jefferson's home, Monticello, a neoclassical architectural masterpiece that remains one of America's historic symbols. Every small detail on this coin, from the spacing in the lettering to the sharpness of Monticello's steps, plays a role in determining its grade and value. The 1963 Jefferson nickel was produced at 2 U.S. mints, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia mint coins do not carry a mint mark, while the Denver mint pieces have a small D mint mark located on the reverse, to the right of Monticello. The total mintage for the 1963 nickel was quite high. The Philadelphia mint struck over 175 million coins, and the Denver mint produced more than 276 million. Because of such large mintages, most 1963 nickels were heavily circulated, meaning that uncirculated or high-grade examples are much more desirable to collectors today. The coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing exactly 5 grams. Its diameter is 21.2 millimeters, and it has a plain edge. Though it doesn't contain silver, the 1963 nickel has a strong metallic appearance that resists wear, which is one reason so many examples remain in circulation even today. However, the condition of your coin makes a huge difference when it comes to determining its value. Circulated nickels from 1963 are usually worth only face value, but uncirculated or proof coins can command much higher prices. Speaking of proof coins, the US Mint produced a special run of 1963 proof Jefferson nickels for collectors. These proof coins were struck in San Francisco but carry no S Mint mark, as was standard for proof coins of that era. Proof coins were made with specially polished dies, resulting in a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details. If you own a 1963 proof nickel in pristine condition, it can be worth several dollars or even more depending on the grade and cameo contrast. Proof examples with deep cameo surfaces, where Jefferson's portrait stands out with frosty brilliance against a mirror background, are especially desirable to collectors. Now, let's talk about value ranges. A regular 1963 nickel in circulated condition typically trades for around 5 cents, just face value. But once you move into higher mint state grades, prices begin to rise. For instance, a 1963 nickel graded MS65 by professional standards can fetch between $10 and $25 depending on eye appeal and strike quality. The 1963D nickel, which had an even larger mintage, follows a similar value pattern, but in top grades such as MS67 or MS67 Plus, it can be worth hundreds of dollars. In some rare cases, particularly well-struck examples with full steps on the Monticello building, known as full steps nickels, can reach values exceeding $1,000 or more. The term full steps refers to the sharpness and completeness of the steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. When all 6 steps are clearly visible and unbroken, the coin receives the full steps designation, abbreviated as FS. These coins are considered premium quality and highly sought after by Jefferson nickel collectors. Finding a true full steps 1963 nickel is quite rare, as most coins from this era suffered from weak strikes or worn dies that blurred these fine details. Another fascinating aspect of the 1963 5-cent coin is the presence of various die errors and minting anomalies. Some collectors have reported examples with double die obverses, where parts of Jefferson's profile, inscriptions, or lettering appear doubled under magnification. There are also repunched mint mark varieties on 1963D nickels, where the D mint mark appears to have been punched more than once, showing faint overlapping impressions. These error varieties can significantly boost a coin's value, sometimes fetching several $100s depending on rarity and condition. It's also important to note that coins struck from worn dies may show extra metal flow lines, cracks, or distorted features, which can either detract from or add to collectability, depending on how visually striking the error appears. Collectors often look for unique die cracks, die clashes, or off-center strikes when examining older nickels. Each error tells a story of the minting process and adds character to an otherwise common coin. When collecting 1963 nickels, grading plays a major role. The condition of a coin is measured on a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale. Coins graded below 60 are generally circulated, showing noticeable wear on Jefferson's cheek, hair, and the steps of Monticello. Mint state coins graded 60 and above show no signs of wear, and the higher the number, the more pristine the coin. Proof coins are graded separately, with designations like PR65 or PR69 for nearly flawless specimens. The presence of full steps designation is one of the most significant value boosters for this series. Another topic of interest for coin collectors is the historical context of the 1963 Jefferson nickel. It was minted during the presidency of John F. Kennedy, a period of optimism and economic growth in America. The nickel represented stability in U.S. coinage, a denomination that had remained unchanged in composition since 1946. The design continued unchanged until 2004, when the U.S. Mint introduced the Westward Journey series. This long continuity makes coins from the 1960s a bridge between mid-century and modern American coinage. Collectors often wonder whether the 1963 nickel is a good investment. While it's not a rare date overall, coins in gem condition or those with exceptional eye appeal can be worthwhile additions to a Jefferson nickel collection. Coins certified by major grading services with full steps and high mint state grades tend to hold their value well. Proof nickels, especially those with strong cameo contrast, also remain desirable among enthusiasts of mid-20th century coinage. For those just starting out in coin collecting, the 1963 Jefferson nickel offers an affordable entry point. You can often find them in rolls, old coin jars, or inherited collections. Searching for a full steps example or an error coin can turn this small 5-cent piece into an exciting treasure hunt. Even though the nickel contains no precious metals, its historical importance and numismatic interest make it a timeless collectible. When examining your 1963 nickel, pay attention to key visual indicators. Check Jefferson's hair detail and cheekbone area. Sharp, well-defined features suggest a higher grade. Flip the coin and inspect Monticello's step. Next up, the 1964 5-cent coin from the United States, also known as the 1964 Jefferson nickel, is one of the most recognized and collected coins in American history. In this video, we will explore everything about the 1964 nickel, its history, composition, design, mint marks, varieties, and the potential value it can have today. Whether you are a coin collector, investor, or simply curious about old US coins, this detailed guide will tell you everything you need to know about the 1964 5-cent coin. The 1964 nickel was produced by the United States Mint at a time when coinage demand was very high. Millions of nickels were struck that year, and they were made primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Because of this, you can find 1,964 nickels with no mint mark, representing the Philadelphia Mint, and with a D mint mark, representing the Denver Mint. The year 1964 was the last year the Jefferson nickel featured its original composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel before changes in production methods began in later years. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel has a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side. The word Liberty and the year 1964 appear to the right of Jefferson's portrait, while the motto In God We Trust is placed along the left edge. The reverse side features Jefferson's home, Monticello, with the words E pluribus unum above, Monticello in the center, and United States of America and 5 cents around the bottom. This design, simple yet symbolic, has remained a favorite among collectors for decades. Now, let's talk about why the 1964 nickel stands out among collectors. While billions were minted, certain varieties and conditions can make these coins much more valuable than their face value. Coins struck with sharp details, known as full steps nickels, are especially prized. The term full steps refers to the visible, unbroken steps on the Monticello design. When all 6 steps are fully defined without wear or weak strike, the coin is much rarer and can bring high premiums in the collector market. Another point of interest for collectors is the mint mark placement and die varieties. Some 1964 nickels were struck using repunched mint marks, where the D from Denver was stamped more than once, creating a doubling effect. There are also examples of doubled die varieties, where parts of the design show noticeable doubling under magnification. These errors are very collectible and can turn a common coin into a valuable treasure. Condition plays a huge role in determining value. Most circulated 1964 nickels are only worth their face value of 5 cents, but uncirculated examples, those that were never used in commerce, can be worth several dollars. Brilliant, uncirculated, or proof-like examples can command even higher prices. Collectors often look for coins with strong luster, minimal contact marks, and sharp strikes. The 1964 Jefferson nickel was also the last nickel struck in large quantities before the mint removed mint marks temporarily during the coin shortage of 1965 to 1967. Because so many 1964 nickels were made, it's often said that they represent the end of an era in US coinage history. In total, over 2.8 billion nickels were produced that year, more than any previous year for the series. While the majority of 1964 nickels remain common, rare varieties can fetch impressive sums. For instance, a 1964 nickel with full steps in perfect condition can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the sharpness and strike quality. Collectors carefully examine every detail of the Monticello steps, the edges, and the fields to determine the quality grade. There are also proof coins from 1964, made specifically for collectors. These proof nickels were produced at the Philadelphia Mint using polished dies and specially prepared planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish. Proof examples are typically found in proof sets and are not meant for circulation. These coins can be highly attractive, showing crisp details and reflective surfaces. When identifying your 1964 nickel, start by checking the mint mark location on the reverse of the coin to the right of Monticello. If there's a small D, it's from the Denver Mint. If there's no mint mark, it's from Philadelphia. Next, look at the coin's overall condition. Is it shiny and uncirculated, or dull and worn from use? Then, check for special features such as full steps or any doubling in the lettering. Collectors often use magnifying glasses or microscopes to detect these small details. Under magnification, you might spot repunched mint marks, die cracks, or other unique features that can make your coin special. Some 1964 nickels even show planchette errors, off-center strikes, or die breaks, all of which can increase their collectible value. The Jefferson nickel design was introduced in 1938 and has remained in use, with modifications, for more than 8 decades. The 1964 issue connects the mid-20th century design to the history of American coinage. It's a small piece of history, showing both craftsmanship and the economic story of its time. It's also fascinating to note that 1964 nickels were made during a period of major change in U.S. coinage. Silver was being phased out from dimes and quarters due to rising metal prices, and the mint was under pressure to produce large quantities of coins to meet national demand. This explains why 1964 nickels were produced in such massive numbers and why they remain so common today. However, even within this sea of coins, unique and rare examples exist. Some collectors specialize only in finding top-grade full-step nickels, while others focus on minting errors. The thrill of finding a rare 1964 nickel in pocket change keeps coin enthusiasts searching every day. If you find a 1964 nickel in excellent condition, store it properly to protect it from oxidation and scratches. Use a soft cloth or cotton gloves when handling coins and keep them in coin holders or flips designed for long-term storage. Proper care can help preserve the coin's luster and value for decades to come. For collectors building a complete Jefferson nickel set, the 1964 nickel is an essential piece. It represents both the end of the early design era and the peak of mintage. When combined with nickels from the 1940s, 1950s, and later years, it tells a complete story of American coinage evolution. Now we will explore the 1974 5-cent coin. Features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag. Jefferson's profile faces left, with the word Liberty and the date 1974 along the right side of the coin. Just below the date, you might notice a small letter, a mint mark, indicating where the coin was made. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, along with the words E pluribus unum, United States of America, and 5 cents. Now, the 1974 nickel was produced at 3 main mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, the Denver coins carry a small D, and the San Francisco nickels are marked with an S. Each mint struck a large number of coins, but not all of them are the same in value. The Philadelphia mint struck over 601 million 1974 nickels, the Denver mint produced around 277 million, and the San Francisco mint created proof coins. These are specially made for collectors and have a mirror-like finish. While most 1974 nickels are still only worth their face value of 5 cents, there are exceptions that can sell for much more, especially in higher grades or with unique errors. Collectors often look for coins in uncirculated condition, those that have never been used in everyday transactions. A 1974 nickel in pristine, mint state condition can be worth a few dollars, sometimes even up to $10 or more depending on grading and demand. But if you find a proof 1974's nickel in perfect condition with deep cameo contrast, it can be worth significantly more to the right collector. Error coins are another exciting part of the story. Some 1974 Jefferson nickels were struck off-center, showing partial designs. Others might have die cracks, double strikes, or filled dies that cause missing details in Jefferson's face or Monticello. Coins with dramatic errors can sell for hundreds of dollars or even more, depending on rarity and eye appeal. If you have a 1974 nickel, take a close look under good lighting. Examine Jefferson's lettering, his eye, the details in his hair, and the steps on Monticello. Coins with full steps on the building are highly desirable. Full steps refer to the crisp, distinct lines on the steps of Monticello, and if all 6 steps are fully visible without wear or flattening, your coin might fall into a valuable category known as full steps or FS designation. A 1974 D nickel with full steps in mint state condition can sell for impressive prices in the coin market. For example, high-grade MS-67 or MS-68 full steps coins are rare and often command strong premiums from collectors. These are the types of coins you'll find in professional auctions or specialized collections. When checking your coins, always handle them carefully. Hold them by the edges to avoid fingerprints or scratches. Even minor damage can reduce a coin's value. If you discover what looks like a rare variety or a high-grade piece, it's worth comparing it with trusted price guides or online marketplaces where similar coins have sold. The Jefferson Nickel series, first introduced in 1938, has remained one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. The 1974 issue sits right in the middle of the classic copper-nickel era, before any major composition changes. Each coin weighs 5 grams and is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel. While the metal value of a 1974 nickel is less than 5 cents today, the historical and collector appeal makes it worth checking every coin you find. Some nickels from the 1970s have been known to sell for large sums because of rare die varieties or nearly perfect mint state preservation. If you're coin hunting through rolls from the bank or sorting through old change, keep an eye out for strong strikes, clear steps on Monticello, and unusual features. Even nickels that seem ordinary can hide small differences that make them collectible. Another interesting aspect is that proof nickels from 1974, those made at the San Francisco Mint, have extremely sharp details and a reflective surface. These were never meant for circulation, but sometimes they ended up in pocket change. If you ever find a 1974 S-proof nickel in circulation, that's something special. Collectors often build complete Jefferson nickel sets, including every date and mint mark combination. The 1974 issue, while common, is an essential piece for completing a set from the 1970s. It connects a significant period in U.S. coinage when the nickel's design stayed consistent through years of social and economic change. Sometimes, nickels from this era tone naturally over time. They may develop rainbow colors or golden hues. Attractive toning can add eye appeal and sometimes value, especially among collectors who appreciate unique-looking coins. So even if your 1974 nickel isn't a high-grade example, its color and character might still catch a collector's eye. In the world of coin collecting, details matter. Mint marks, surface quality, luster, and strike sharpness all influence a coin's desirability. For 1974 nickels, the Denver and Philadelphia issues are most common, but the high-grade full-step varieties from either mint are the ones collectors chase.